G'day there guys, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. Bit of a follow on from the last video, that was work to come. I had several points that I put up there. One was the optometric Kearns borer. We've got a fit of VFD for that. Well, I'm lucky enough to have a kind gentleman offered me two used three-phase VFDs. So there's one for the Kearns and one for the Haro. I just have to now get some IP66, I think they are, enclosures, and something I've been wanting for a long time is a separate power box for the end of the three-phase extension cord, so I'm not coming back to the switch to disarm it all the time. I'd like to be able to turn it off where I am and swap leads with what I'm doing. But also I might build one of the VFDs into that particular box, so we see how that goes for the future. Club riding car, I've done a little bit on that, but I'll bring you back when a few more things have been welded on. And adapter for the, I'm reading off my book now, for the J&S chuck. I was thinking quite a bit, out loud of course, and if I fit that 3-jaw chuck from the dividing head to the cylindrical grinder, I still only got a 3-jaw chuck. And it's the sort of machine I'm chasing 2/10 if I can adjust it that fine, and I've already been lambasted for boasting I can get down to 2/100ths of a millimetre. Well, if I'm chasing something that fine, I'm not going to get it even with a Pratt Bernard 3-jaw chuck. Now, I did find a smaller 3-jaw chuck that I'll zoom you in on the bench, in with the equipment that came with the Haro. So I'm taking that apart as we speak to see whether it's knackered or not, and I might fit that as one option to the cylindrical grinder. But also I have this little beauty. It's a Pratt Bernard 4-jaw. It came with a little Myford I inherited a few years ago, and I've since moved it on to an interested party. And at the moment it's got a plain shaft on the back of it. Changing chucks on my Mazak lathe is a big job for me because I'm only a scrawny little bugger. So what I do for smaller 4-jaw work, I just throw that 4-jaw up in the 3-jaw and have at it. I just got to keep in mind that it's a screw-on chuck and not break things too hard. That is, put the brakes on, not bust them. But there's one opportunity. If I use that 4-jaw on the cylindrical grinder when necessary and put the little 3-jaw on, I can leave the big 3-jaw chuck, or big, it's 8-inch, with the universal dividing head. And one reason I'm starting to lean that way is as I progress into different kinds of work in the shed, I might pass on some of the gear, and it'd be a shame to try and pass on that dividing head without the bits that go with it. Okay, I'll zoom you in down on the bench. You can see what we're starting off with. Oh, also yesterday I picked up a very good score, a nice dust collector that'll go onto the tool and cutter grinder, so I'll whiz you around and give you a quick look at that. Okay guys, I'll try not to get my hairy arms and legs in the way. This is the back of the 3-jaw chuck. It has seen a little bit of use. I don't think extensive. It's just been stored in a dirty atmosphere for the last 30 years. And a bit of soaking kerosene overnight got everything moving, but the backing plate doesn't want to come out of it yet. But I'll just let it sit with a bit of fairy piss sprayed into it and see how that goes. Now, to hold small parts in the cylinder grinder, I picked this up to do a little bit of fault finding on the tool and cutter grinders a while ago. And it's a 3 Morse taper ER32 collet chuck, and look, it's even polished. I'm quite surprised. Now, I put that up in one of the work heads, and it runs within about 2/10 of a thou. I'm quite happy with that. The 3 Morse taper goes straight into the work head. I've just got to tap out the dead centre, and I've got to make up a drawbar because work like this is 12mm, and everything else I have is 1/2 inch Whitworth, being old shit like me. Well, that's a cheap way in. I think that was all of about $39. Now, I have got another ER32 3 Morse taper chuck, and I bought this as part of the troubleshooting. I wasn't getting any accuracy on the Kearns borer, and they're both really good. It turned out to be the snout bar holder that was up to shit. So yeah, I've So I've got my 2 dead centres there, one of which is sad. The one in the tailstock has been ground on and bullied, and it was fairly well corroded around the shank of the dead centre. So I just fairly gently Scotch-Brite it and gave it a bit of vinegar and some love with the steel wool. And look, it's reasonable, but they're $20 to buy or $30 to buy. I don't mind putting a few new dead centres in, especially, as I said, I'm chasing tenths of a thou with this machine, so I better behave myself and get it right. And over here we have the back of the Pratt Bernard chuck. That's the little shaft that I made, probably the best bit of turning of my life. I just managed to screw the shaft up to register. It's in really good nick, although it wasn't stored all that well before I got it, and it's got a few scalds from the rust on it. There's nothing in the innards that would prevent me from using that on the cylindrical grinder. So that means I've got the dead centres, I've got a collet chuck, and once I adapt that with the shaft, that'll go in as a 4-jaw chuck. I can't really see me doing quick production work where the 3-jaw chuck will be of an advantage to me. It may, and also it could be something, because it's only a little 5-inch chuck, it could be something I adapt to a 3 Morse taper, so it's a quicker change than mucking around with the thread. That way I can go from the dead centres to the collet chuck to the 3-jaw chuck, all using the same attach, and hey presto, it's all changed in a couple of minutes. Okay, time to turn this off, and let's have a look at the dust collector. Here we are, back again. And what did he get yesterday? It's an absolute bloody ripper. I would say it's 25 years old. The name on it says Jet Machinery, and it was purchased off a woodworking equipment supplier way over the south side of town. Single phase induction motor, quite a big cartridge filter with a handle up the top that beats all the pleats of the filter inside to knock the shite off. Well, that's a bit of a plus. And believe it or not, it fitted in my Hyundai i30 to get it home. He had it plumbed into several machines at his workshop, and what I got with it is just an Aladdin's cave. The box on the right has got quite a lot of elbows and blanks, so you can run it out to 3 or 4 machines and blank 1 or 2 of them off at a time. But he also made up a system of gate valves, wooden blocks with sliding plates in them. I suppose you call them plate valves. The roll on the right hand side is a couple more dirt bags. Yes, I've kept them back from Parliament House, they can't have all the dirt bags. And yeah, good as gold. On the left there is another box with a whole lot of reducers and blanks and fittings and more gate valves. So I'll be hiding this just inside the door to the shed, the roller door, in under the switchboard, and I'll be able to run a flexible duct across inside the roller door and then put suction up to all of my tool and cutter grinders. And yes, there is one more box, a bit bigger than the one on the left, full of flexible ducting and rigid ducting. The flexible ducting is 4-inch, 3-inch and 2-inch. Like there's miles of this stuff. So that was a good one for me. Well guys, if you're wondering what I did this last weekend, that's part of it, not all of it. And it's in amongst a couple of bloody big storms. They went around us, not to us or through us, but we had to restrict our movement just in case if the road goes under we don't get back home again. Okay, when I get that dust extractor fitted up, I'll let you have a listen to it, although it'll be a good competitor for the fan and the roof. If this is your first time in, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video as I start to fit things up to the cylindrical grinder or take another turn as the opportunities arise. Bye for now.